Okay, so once again we are dealing with the S&P 500, and once again today I took buys on the S&P 500 today, which is Monday, not Monday, Tuesday. Yeah, it's Tuesday, and I will take you guys through my thought process and which confluences I used, right? So we can see overall market structure on the higher time frames is still overall very bearish. So the bears are clearly in control, and have been in control for the last uh, for the past several weeks at least. But since we are not looking for any swing trades, there will obviously be market corrections to the upside, etc. on the smaller time frames, right? So even though the overall market structure on the higher time frames are clearly bearish, um, there is still possible ways to get in on buys, just short sort of scalping uh, opportunities. But anyways, going into today, we had news at 4 o'clock. We had news at 4 o'clock, and I think it was, not sure if it was flash manufacturing PMI or flash services PMI, not exactly sure, but either way, that is very important news uh, where the US is concerned, right? So anyway, we were just pretty range bound today um, before news came out, and we can see right over here, that's just basically one massive range over there, right? So with that being said, that was actually good for me. And the reason why I said it was actually good for me is because, look at this, we have, just make this red, yeah, we had Asian session over there marked out. Then also we had London session over there marked out. So we can see that during London session, we had these Asian session lows over here. That was your Asian session lows, and we can see during London session over here with that candle over there, we came down and we actually swept out. What did we do? Price actually came down, swept out, came down and swept out Asian session lows, and then it just gave a short push to the upside. But we're not. But I just wanted to point it out. But we're not actually worried about London session because we are trading in the in New York session, right? So now, where's 3 o'clock? 3 o'clock. There we go. Marked out New York session as well. So this is the 3 o'clock hourly candle. New York Stock Exchange opens at 3:30. Obviously, I waited a good while because there was news at 4 o'clock. So I only started looking for trades and entries and setups after 4 o'clock, right? So what I want you guys to do is to pay specific attention to this candle over here, that bullish candle over there, which is the next hourly candle, the 4 o'clock candle. So what happens? We can see New York session opens right over there, where that vertical line is, right? Then news comes out. I remember the news was it didn't come out exactly good for the US, but it wasn't exactly, it did come out weaker, but not by very much. Anyhow, like I said, just pay specific attention to this 4 o'clock candle over there, because what happens after news, price dumps straight down. Thinking, some of you guys would have been thinking, okay, price is just gonna now, flat dump, push straight down. But that's actually what I wanted, because even though, remember what I said, during London session, we swept out these Asian lows over here. Swept out these Asian lows over here. But now what I was waiting for were those London session lows to get swept. And we can see that with this 4 o'clock candle over here, we can see price pushed down as it opened, pushed aggressively down, and then what did it do? It swept out those London session lows and then proceeded, after sweeping it, proceeded to push back up. Clear indication that was a clear indication that all that was just a liquidity sweep, taking out those London session lows, and that price actually wanted to push to the upside, right? So once again, the 4 o'clock candle opens. The 4 o'clock candle opens, pushes down aggressively, and sweeps out the London session lows, and then continues to push further up. So clear indication, a sweep of the lows, a clear indication, a sweep of the lows, and an aggressive push up with, as we can see by this massive wick on that hourly candle, right? So like I said, I wanted price to push down to sweep out London session lows, even though we were already during London session swept out Asian session lows. I wanted, before looking for any buys, I wanted London session lows to get swept out during New York session, and that's exactly what price did. And yeah, that's exactly what price did. So we can actually see that during New York session, we didn't have a lot of actual momentum to the upside, but I was still looking for buys, right? So we can see over here on the 5 minute, you can see right over here. Let me just remove this, or actually let me just move this here. You can see on the 5 minute over here, right over there, after we got that aggressive liquidity sweep on the 1 hour, we can see on the 5 minute over here, we broke 5 minute structure to the upside. We broke 5 minute structure to the upside right over here. Right over there. We broke 5 minute structure. Right? So some of you guys may be thinking, why am I looking on the 5 minute? Because all that could have been is essentially just a higher time frame retrace, right? But the reason why I'm looking actually on the 5 minute, not maybe the 30 minute, not maybe the 30 minute or the 15 minute, is because, like I said at the beginning of the video, this is essentially just short scalps that I'm looking for. I don't usually look for I don't usually scalp specifically, but with the way price action has been lately, moving aggressively in one direction, then moving aggressively in the next, or in the opposite direction, kind of have to change your approach for the time being. But like I said, 5 minute break of structure to the upside over there, and as we can see also with that 5 minute break of structure, no fair value gaps. Like we can see after that 5 minute, price just pushed aggressively to the upside, right? So with that being said, I then went on to the 15 minute, which I know is a bit dumb, but since I couldn't find any fair value gaps, there was a 15 minute little resistance zone over here. There was a little 15 minute resistance zone over here. So I was like, okay, once price breaks that, I will be looking to take an entry, right? scrolling down to now the 5-minute. So I saw, okay, price broke it right over there, broke the zone, and then I was like, okay, I'm not still gonna essentially wait for a retrace. I'm just gonna I'm gonna go ahead and enter. So I entered right off the closure of that candle. My stop loss was somewhere around here, just below the low of that. And with the way price pushed up so aggressively, I actually had a very extended TP. Like, I think my TP, I was targeting the full length of this I was targeting the full length of this 1 hour imbalance over here. I was targeting the full length of that. So I was like, okay, price might actually push up as far as possible into it and then fill it, right? As we can see, that didn't happen. As we can see over here on the 5-minute, that didn't happen, right? You can see price sort of topped out over there before pushing lower, right? So what happened was I actually took an L on this trade, but it was a very, very, very small L, because once price got to around this point over here, where's this thing? Once price got to this point, that point around there, I actually started moving my stop loss towards break even, not completely towards break even, but I think my stop loss was over there, so I did essentially move it up to around this point over here, right? And as we can see, eventually I did get stopped out, but it was a very minimal amount, because once again, like I said, I moved my stop loss from where it was initially further up and closer to my entry point. I would have actually liked price to continue pushing higher, but if you look on the higher time frames, just on the 1 hour time frame, just very quickly, I never essentially waited for this retest over here. I never essentially waited for that retest, right? So with that being said, I did actually anticipate the price might have actually would actually have retraced, or even, just have been essentially a fake out on the higher time frames. Would have just been a fake out on the higher time frames to just completely, take out whatever liquidity was up there and then come back down. So I did anticipate that, but I still think it was a good trade overall. I still think it was also a good setup. I think I followed the confluences good as well. So it's not a complete loss, because at least I know my bias was on point. The confluences I used were good enough, and patience paid off as well. But hopefully later in the week I can actually catch, the full move of the trade and of the trend, whether it be in the short term or medium term, whatever. But because that's always the goal. So yeah, that was a trade. This was a trade recap of the S&P 500.